Welcome back to the Krav Maga Worldwide Podcast. Today, I'm sitting down with Gerwin Kranenburg, European Licensing Director, 4th Dan Krav Maga Black Belt, instructor, coach, entrepreneur, and the definition of lead by example. Gerwin shares how he went from a 5-year-old in karate to one of the most respected leaders in the Krav Maga Worldwide community. He talks about what drew him to Krav Maga, how it transformed his approach to training, and why real self-defense demands more than just technique. It requires a mindset, a community, and constant growth. You'll hear how training in Luxembourg this summer shook up expectations and delivered something radically different, and why that shift matters not just for instructors, but for everyone serious about living ready. And don't forget, get registered for our next Handgun Expert Training Weekend, happening September 5th through 7th in Houston. And this is your chance to take your handgun defenses, shooting, and retention to another level. Gerwin, so great to be speaking with you today.
Yeah, same. Love talking to you.
Thanks for being here. You were the first person that I met in the Krav Maga world when I went to Europe last year.
That's true.
And it was so cool. You showed me around the Netherlands, and I got to learn a lot about the culture there and the country. And I had no idea there were so many tulips. There's a lot of tulips.
Oh yeah, there are, and they smell lovely. And it was fun. It was fun showing you around.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And also, another thing that really stood out to me was just like the way that water has been used.
Yeah, well, I think the Netherlands and the Dutch people, they have been working with water and always have been challenged by water. So we sure know what to do with it. And that's also why we are working worldwide with a lot of water development on how to deal with, well, high tides, whatever. Yep.
Makes sense. Yeah. Cause like, I mean, it was used as a defense, right? To keep like invaders and attackers from coming into the country. But then also like you had to build these like aqueducts to keep it out so that it wouldn't flood the farms and things like that. It was really interesting. That's one of my favorite things, is just learning about cultures and people and stuff. So
yeah,
thanks for showing me around. That's great.
Oh yeah, sure. So,
awesome.
hope you will come again real soon.
Yes, I want to come again. It was so great. And you know, a big reason why I wanted to have you on the podcast today was to talk about the recent seminar that you attended with CJ in Luxembourg, but also just to like have people get to know you and like learn a little bit about your backstory as well. So how did you come to Krav Maga training?
Well, in a way, it's kind of like it's a long but also funny story, but I will try to keep it a little bit short. So I started doing martial arts at age 5. My parents, they had a restaurant, and in the restaurant, there were a lot of people just coming in, showing up, trying to trash the place. And my father kind of got fed up with it, and he was like, I'm going to have my entire staff trained in karate back in the days and get some street fighting in. And me and my brother, well, we were young. I think I was 5 years old. And then my father was like, you know what? It's good for you. You also start doing it. So at that age, I started doing karate. A few years later, my parents sold the place, so we moved. And in the other town, there was no karate. So I switched to judo and jiu-jitsu. And I did that for, I think, about 5-6 years.
Wow.
Then we moved again to a different town where there was karate. So I switched back to karate again. And then I did both semi-contact and full contact karate for, well, practically till now. And in 2003, I opened my gym, started teaching karate. But then when I was teaching karate, a lot of people showed up asking me like, hey, I want to learn self-defense. And well, I had been training karate my entire life. But to be honest, I felt a little bit awkward in telling them like, okay, you know what, you can just follow karate classes. I was like, okay, it is a martial art, but is it a really street-based self-defense system? I honestly could not say yes. So I started looking around, And well, I pretty soon ended up with Krav Maga. And I think it took me about 2 years going from organization to organization, attending all different kinds of seminars, to finally end up with KMW, which appealed to me the most. I liked the system. I liked the way how everything was written down, explained, the manuals, they were detailed. It was a well thought through system. So yeah, so that's how I ended up first training Krav Maga and then bringing it to my gym and started teaching it.
That's great. Yeah, we've talked a little bit before, and I've said this before on the podcast too, that like I have a karate background, and I had a really similar experience where it's like I had trained my whole life in martial arts, and people would even say like, well, your karate doesn't mean anything or this or that, and I think that's totally wrong. I mean, I had a wicked sidekick and a great straight punch, and I probably had a much better shot of defending myself than somebody who had no training at all, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it was like the specifics of somebody trying to strangle me or put me in a headlock or hold me, or what if, like we really didn't talk about weapons defenses at all.
No.
Or multiple attackers, or like, what if there's two people? It's like, I'm not going to challenge them to a one-on-one duel, right? So,
so for me, I think, for me, the biggest challenge, what I encountered after started doing Krav and combining it with the traditional martial arts, it ended up doing belt testing where I had to do a self-defense demonstration for, it was my 5th degree black belt. And then the teacher was like, nope, that's not what I want to see. I want to see a straight stab and then the knife stays there. I was like, well, that's not reality. Nope, but that's the self-defense we want to see. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah. That's where I totally switched. Like, nope, I like the fighting. I like everything the traditional martial arts brought me. It most definitely sped up my learning curve. But at the same time, well, I think the art portion of the martial arts, it kind of, and the competition part took over. And for me, it missed reality. But still, I think combining everything, I mean, the system Krav Maga, it is a mixture of everything, of all the traditional martial arts together, taking away etiquette and taking it down to, the most basic elements. I think that's what I like most.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know, human nature or natural that things just like kind of get watered down over time. Like, I mean, how far back can we trace our karate roots and our taekwondo roots? And, it's like this really long game of telephone where some master hundreds of years ago was like, well, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. And, every instructor and every organization or group has a different level of dedication to their learning. So at some chink in the chain or in the armor, at some point there was like someone who just like didn't dive as deep, but they then passed on the knowledge. And then so over time that quality kind of evaporates. And then like you said, it's like, I want you to do a straight stab with your arm out. Well, why? Because that's how we do it. And like at least here in America, that was one of the most frustrating things to hear as a child from a parent is like, well, why should I do this? Because I said so. And it's like, okay, all right, but why? Yeah.
And to be honest, that's also one of the things I like in my gym. I challenge my students, whether it's the youth program, where it's the 6-year-olds, challenge me. Come on, ask me questions. Try to get me to not give an answer. Just come up with questions and test me. Test the system, test everything. And that's what I like the most. And whether it's going to be in the gym, whether it's going to be instructor training, I think that's the most important part where people start growing. If they challenge the system, they start asking questions. And if they get the answers where they are like, oh, light bulb, it goes on, I understand. That's where progress is being made.
Yeah, I agree. And I definitely experienced it coming up through the instructor courses of this kind of idea that at least CJ's underlined it for me. And now it's like explicit. It's like, I need to prove it to myself. And I think that's what you're saying too, is like students need to prove it to themselves. If they don't understand, asking the questions to themselves and going deeper and like trying to gain ownership over it is what's going to give them what they truly need, that confidence to be able to use it. Because I mean, it's as simple as like an app on a phone or a power tool or something. If I don't know how to use it and I don't believe in it, I'm not going to use it. And like for self-defense, like that can't be the case. It's like, if I don't know why I'm doing something, I need to figure it out. Otherwise, if I find myself in that situation, I'm going to be stuck.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm totally on the same page there. And that's also why I love working with CJ, because he is emphasizing the same stuff over and over again. He's always asking questions. And even if you ask him a question, he will reply with a question. Like, okay, you can ask me a question, but what do you think? And he just puts you to thinking. And I think, I've been working with CJ and you for, at least since a year and a half, 2 years now. And I know it has changed my teaching at the same time. I have been asking way more questions to my students and to my instructors. And if they ask a question, I will reply with a question.
Yeah. And what's neat about it, I think I might have said this before in a different episode or something, but like, I'm the type of person where I'm like, just give me the answer. Like, I just want to know. But I appreciate it's like CJ could totally give me the answer, and I could give the answer to like some of my students. And asking that question, like you're saying, gets them to think for themselves. And like that's the old adage of like teach a man to fish, right? It's like then they can provide for themselves for a lifetime versus like, oh, here's some fish, and then it's like, well, now I'm gone, now what are you going to do, right? And I think that's what's going to help preserve what we talked about with the karate and taekwondo over the centuries getting watered down. It's like, if we have leaders and thinkers who are asking questions like you are in your classes and getting students to think for themselves, it's going to give a way deeper understanding than just like, we'll do this because I said so.
And to be honest, I mean, like today I had some youth belt testing. And in advance, I always have like an open registration. People can just sign up for, okay, I want to do some belt testing. They can ask my permission. But I'm always telling them, like, okay, you want to do your test? Why? And if they say, well, I'm ready. Okay, why do you think you're ready? They need to explain to me why they think they're ready. And some of them are like, can't you just tell me, like, hey, I want you to do a belt testing because I think that they are ready. I'm like, no, I want it to come from you. Yeah. You have to be ready. You have to be convinced about yourself. It's not my word. And that's, I think, the biggest difference from my past in traditional martial arts. Then you were training, and then your teacher would come to you like, okay, I think you're ready to do your next test. And there was, oh yes, I can do my test. But I'm like, nope, I'm turning it around. I want you to tell me like, okay, I want to do the test. And then explain to me, okay, why do you want it?
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool. And, I think sometimes talking about the watering down and the just like the like just feeding people answers makes it sound like maybe traditional martial arts aren't valuable, and I totally like disagree. I gained so much value from traditional martial arts, and I think one of them is like my ability to control my body, right? So it's like if I learn a new technique, I can apply it right away. So people who are maybe listening or who do have that traditional martial arts background, it does pay dividends. It does help a lot. And there's some things that are missing that need to be added in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Because, I think for instance, the controlling your body is most important. At the same time, the respect part. Yeah. Having respect for your teacher, having respect for your training partner, all that stuff I think is so insanely important. Yeah. I know. Well, youth, for instance, I know when the kids come in, they are overexcited because they can finally train. So they run into my gym, they start taking off their clothes, throwing it away, and just running into the room like, okay, I'm ready for training. Yep. Then sometimes you will see the parents walking behind their kids, picking up their stuff. Now tell them, no, leave it. And then I'll just address the kids like, okay, I saw the big mess. I'm just going to give you like 1 minute, and then I want everything to be cleaned up. It's your responsibility, not your parents. Awesome. And then the parents are looking, and then the kids, they just rush out of the room. And within a minute, everything is folded up in the locker room, and everything is neat. And the parents look, I didn't know they can fold. Well, teach them.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the power of a mentor that they respect. And I mean, I'm a like a white belt in parenting right now. I've got a 6 and a 7-year-old, but it's really cool to be on the other side and look, and it's like, as a parent, I can teach and help and give them. And if they have mentors like a Gerwin or, somebody that they can go to who's reinforcing like what I want as a parent and giving them additional support and ways to look, like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I was growing up, I was like, I will do anything to get my instructor to like me. And like that ended up turning into me developing respect and discipline and focus and leadership and all these other qualities.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think in a way, the entire society is changing. You can see people, they just want it and they want it now. And it's also with the youth, but also the adults. It's going to be like, okay, there's going to be belt testing. I want to go for the next belt. And then after a few months, there's another belt test. I want to go for the next belt. Why? Chasing belts, that's not the goal. Yeah. And that's one of the things. I have some of my kids, even the older ones that are 15, 16, 17, that are having a big mouth to their parents. They're like, I want to do a belt testing. Well, not as long as I don't hear anything positive from your parents.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, just what I'm telling you. You start cleaning up the house. You start cleaning up your room. You start picking up groceries. Do whatever your parents need. Assist them. And if they're like, I don't know what happened, but now I have a different kid, then I'm proud of you. Then I'm allowing you to do a belt testing. I think that's so much more.
Yeah, it is. And I think, for like adults, it's like most of the time it's either I want to get in shape or I need to learn how to protect myself. Like those are the things.
Yeah.
And with kids, a lot of times they're like, whoa, that looks cool. I want to be a Ninja Turtle or whatever. And for both kids and adults, it's like it starts with those things, but then it's a vehicle for life transformation. It's a way to embody like becoming our highest and best selves. And that's, why I've dedicated my life to self-defense and martial arts, is because of how empowering it can be and how much like greatness is unleashed essentially for individuals.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think in a way that's also why I think it's so important that, and I'm going to build in a little bridge to the seminar, because you mentioned like you want to talk about the seminar. Why it's so important that people go to seminars and start working with different instructors that have a different level of knowledge.
Yeah.
And also for existing instructors. I mean, like myself and my instructors that went to the seminar, I think it is so important to expose yourself, but also don't be afraid. Like, okay, if I'm going there and someone points out something, it's okay to make mistakes. At least I want to make mistakes. I want someone to tell me like, hey, you can improve here. I'm like, glad I can work on something. And I think that's so important. And I think that's universal. I think a lot of people, they stop exposing themselves to new insights.
Yeah.
Because it's scary.
Yep.
Because what if? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that people don't like. Sometimes when they start out, I mean, I've had students who are like, give me all the feedback. Right? It's not everyone, right? But there's a good chunk of students when they first start out where it's like, it's hard for them to receive feedback. They don't really like feedback. And then they go through the system. But fast forward that to like, where I am, where you are and have been, it's like, then we get to the point where like we're the leader of a school and nobody's giving us feedback. And it's like, all I want is like, I want to get better. Like, I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. And then I think it's a really slippery slope if we don't go out and do seminars, if we don't go out and do continuous education and continual training, to then get stuck with like, well, I don't want people to see me mess up. And it's like, even from time to time, I still go like, oh man, I wish I didn't screw up there. But at the end of it, it's like, I'm just grateful that someone is able to tell me and point things out to me and show me how to get better, because it's a perishable skill. And like, if we're not constantly training, we're going to backslide a little bit, and we need those nuggets of feedback and constructive criticism to keep pushing and to keep getting better.
Yeah. I think it's so important that people keep doing it. They have to start doing it and have to keep doing it. And not only for instructors, but also for students, for everyone. Well, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say the seminar thing, like, is how you got started with Krav Maga Worldwide, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you said, you're like, I was looking for some organizations and then I went to a seminar. So do you remember who your first seminar was with?
Well, my very first seminar within KMW, that was Thierry Fiatour. He first had his own organization, but he signed up with KMW. And then from KMW, the first seminar was with Darren in Belgium. Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. That was a crazy seminar. Darren was there. Back in the days, John Whitman was there. So we had a lot of people showing up. It was a big seminar, big turnout.
That's so
and it was
cool.
amazing. Yep.
Yeah, I've gotten the chance to be on the mat with Darren just a handful of times, and like his energy and passion and like the deep knowledge and wisdom that he has and the way he blends that with the work he did, as a district attorney, like it's just such an incredible experience. Do you remember was there anything that like really stood out to you, or like you were at that seminar and you're like, oh yeah, this is it. Like, this is like why I'm with KMW.
Well, the seminar by itself was amazing because there were so many people coming from all over the world. Even may rest in peace, Kokushi from Japan, he came over. So we had people from the US. We had a lot of people from the entire Europe showing up. So it was the Netherlands, Belgium, France, Spain, Poland. We had like from, I would say, almost practically every country there were people. So that was amazing. I think that was one of the first times that I actually went to a seminar where so many different nationalities showed up at one event.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And so at that point, you were teaching karate, you went to seminars, you got connected with Krav Maga Worldwide, you went to a Darren seminar. Were you already in the instructor development program? Were you already teaching Krav Maga?
Yeah. When Darren came to Europe, I already passed my FACE ABC. So I was an official licensee from KMW. Actually, I was the first one in Europe that signed up with KMW.
That's awesome.
So kind of proud of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I loved everything about it. And I am so grateful for everything that's happening right now and all the changes that are currently going on, because in a way, there is like the system where you're going through and you go from the FACE training, the instructor training, to the expert series, then to the black belt program, the other expert series, you do the law enforcement, you do the kids program. And then it's like, okay, I did everything. Yep. And now there's going to be like, okay, there's going to be an extra layer, which is so exciting, because it's not like, okay, you did everything, now it's up to you. No, you did everything, but there's a deeper layer. And I like it that there are deeper layers, so we can still keep on developing. We can still keep on growing.
Yeah, I love that. And you're just a guy for first, Gerwin. You were also one of the very first courage coaching certified coaches with Krav Maga Worldwide.
Yep.
And that's like that's a new thing that we've, just started offering the last like year and a half. How would you say going through that program has like benefited you or supported your students, or tell me about that?
It has been very beneficial. To be honest, that's also what I was talking about, the way I'm teaching and the way more asking questions to students about the deeper why, the deeper why are we doing this stuff? Why are you doing certain things? It is building the community way stronger. I think over the past 20 years, I already had a pretty strong community, but by opening practically everything up for discussion, and there are no boundaries like, okay, this is a non-topic. No, if you want to talk about something, it is possible. And having an open mind and being non-judgmental about anything, I think that's priceless. It is amazing.
It's so great to hear that. And like, it was really neat to be like in the cohort with people who, it's like, I felt like for me, when I was coming up through instructor training, it's like I'm with like this certain group of people, right? And like, you might kind of catch up to another group, or someone might kind of catch up to you. but we didn't really get to see everybody that's in the community. Whereas what's cool about Courage is like, as long as someone's a phase certified instructor, it's like we get to meet all sorts of different people who are in the community, and we're like working together to learn this new skill to like support people in another way, in a deeper way. And I think it's been really great for each of us as individuals, but also just for the culture of Krav Maga Worldwide, and like how we connect and communicate with each other, at least the people that have been we're in cohort 2 now. So it's been really cool to see.
Yeah. For me personally, I would recommend it to all the instructors to just do it. And even if you don't want to become like a professional coach and make a profession out of it and make money out of it, just for your personal development, I would say do it. Because I have been teaching phase to quite some instructors here in Europe. And it has always been like, okay, we have the teaching template, you know how to teach, you know how to bring the program to, you know how to break down the techniques. But we always talk about, okay, people will put you like almost on a pedestal and talk to you, okay, you're the instructor, you know everything. But to actually give people the tools to communicate with your students on a deeper level, I think it's so important. I think that's the one of the missing links we've had in the past, which is phenomenal, that's being offered right now.
Yeah, I think it's so great. So great for our students, so great for our instructors in the community. It's awesome. And you were also in the first group of people who went to the handgun expert as well.
Yeah. Well, kind of like, do you think I want to learn stuff?
We gotta have Gerwin's name be Gerwin the First. That'll be your nickname.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, to be honest, I did that one last year. And what I really liked about that course is also it's being brought as a complete system with the similar breakdown as we are normally training and teaching the craft system. But also going through the shooting, everything is being cut down to small pieces where it is easy, applicable. Well, I have been a sports shooter, and after the course, I can tell you my sports shooting, my scores went insanely up.
That's awesome.
So normally in competition, I mean, we are in meters, but we are shooting like the 25 meters. That's going to be the fast distance. That's going to be a set distance. Yeah. And normally in competition, I would end up like place 15 or 16 in competition. And for the last 2 competitions, I was in the top 3.
Wow.
So I would say it is improving your skills a lot.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Okay, so back to your story. You started teaching your phase A, B, C through. You got to work with Darren, and I'm pretty sure you've either worked with or had seminars with almost all of the big names in Krav Maga and like the leaders at Krav Maga Worldwide over the years, right?
Yeah, I have. Yes.
That's so cool.
And I think they are all incredible people with an insanely amount of knowledge. And I am so glad that, well, a few weeks ago, CJ showed up in Luxembourg to teach a seminar, because I think it was mind-blowing, especially bringing it down to, more like the Krav Maga blueprint, the way he was talking about it, the OODA loop, which he talked about in previous episodes as well. I think it is so important for people to understand the deeper layers.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about Krav Maga, and I do. Like I think I do know a lot about Krav Maga, and it's just neat to see that there's pieces underneath that. So let's talk about like how did the seminar go? Like how do you think the participants liked it? How did you like it? What were some like highlights for you?
Well, I think in a way, the first day, and maybe it sounds critical, but I think it's very good that it happened. A lot of people, they showed up and were like, okay, this is going to be like a similar seminar that we have been attending over the past X amount of years. So it's going to be like, okay, grab a tombstone pad. We're going to pound on the pad. We're going to kick the pad. We're going to work our asses off. And it's going to be sweating big time. And then we'll go through all the techniques. And
so do you think that's why maybe not even more people came? Is like people who didn't know CJ, didn't know what was going on. They thought it was just going to be more of the same.
I think so. Yes, absolutely. And especially, I think there were several people from throughout Europe and even from outside Europe that showed up for the seminar, which I'm very grateful for, because first of all, I like seeing all the people and I like meeting old friends from years back.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, they just were like, yeah, well, I have done the handgun, I've done the long gun, I have done the knife, I have done the active shooter attacker, I have done whatever. And they were like, I think I know it. So a lot of the people attending, they might be level 1, level 2, maybe level 3, and some instructors showing up. But I think the people with the higher levels, they should have been there, because that would have been like so insightful for them.
We were trying to, with the marketing, be like, look, it's going to be different. It's going to be this. And we were even like, we'll pay you $10,000 if you don't learn anything. And then we're like, we'll buy your hotel, your ticket, whatever. We're trying to do it. But I think some things just have to be experienced, right? And I think that it's so cool to hear that it wasn't just the same thing again. Like what? Like no. So that you thought everybody kind of showed up thinking it was going to be the same thing, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, I think people they heard about the advertisements and were like, okay, it's going to be different, but still, it is in your mindset. It's going to be like, oh, it's going to be a craft seminar. That means 2 days of hard work and a lot of pain and suffering, and we'll get through it. And then he started talking and breaking down a lot of theory and just talking about it. And finally, that came like a flip over, and he started drawing stuff on it. And so people, I think, were confused in the beginning, like, what's going on? What's happening? But, well, CJ, he's a really, I would say, not a smooth talker, but he is very easy with words.
Yes.
And with communicating. And I think the way he breaks stuff down, it makes so much sense. So, yeah, I must say I liked it, and I think the majority of people liked it. And
there was like eight different languages, right?
Yeah.
And when I was with you last year, I learned I didn't know that the Dutch people like learn English in school. Like that was something that like I didn't know. And then I also learned that some people like you, I mean, you're talking to me almost every week and you're practicing your English, but there's probably a lot of people in your country where it's like they learned it, but they don't use it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what was interesting for me is like when I was teaching, it was cool to see that they could follow along and they could understand, but also looked like it was like really mentally taxing to like have to translate, and like go between. So it's cool that even with 8 languages, CJ was able to break it down simply enough. And then I know Mark was there, and there was probably a lot of other people there helping to translate. But it's cool to hear that like these what seem like these complex ideas or big thoughts don't actually have to be, and it's like a physical language that we can all speak.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things CJ is also talking about. The craft language should be simple and should be universal. So it shouldn't be depending whether I am from the USA, so it should be American English, and it's going to be a different language when I'm from the UK, and should be different language when I'm somewhere else from Europe. No, it should be one universal language. And I think he broke it down pretty much to that part. And I think people got it.
That's cool. Did he do the thing like, just explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He did it several times.
He did that in a room full. He did that in a room full of like multi-level black belts. And he's like, "What is the danger? What is the threat? Explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old." And we're all just like,
Yeah. He did the same thing. So yeah, absolutely. But did he also do it with the black belts? The finding the rhythm with the music, the rubber band man.
I love that.
Yeah, because he did it with the entire group. I think it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, people were first like, what's he gonna do? And then the music it turned up and he started doing it. Like, okay, you just have to follow me, follow my lead.
Yeah.
But people had so much fun. And I think that's one of the most important things in building the community, staying together, having fun together while learning essential stuff.
Yeah, I learned this from a karate mentor of mine a long time ago, Dave Kovar, but he always had a thing like smiling, sweating, learning. And like, and the rhythm and that drill that he does is like super important, because that's a big thing that we see with students early on is they just don't know how to move their body at all. So having drills like that in our back pocket where we can build their body mechanics. And I just had someone recently who he's like, I feel like I have 2 left feet, like I don't know what I'm doing. But so to have things that we can use to build them up, I think is super important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I loved it. And I loved seeing so many happy faces. I mean, that's priceless. I just love it.
Yeah,
and I think talking about those drills, I think especially the movement where we're going right now with the essential movement and the essential drills, that will give so much more value to everything that we have been teaching. And I think that will also give the entire program, but also the organization, way more value, because we are doing some new stuff. It is different from at least from what I've seen over, I would say, the past 20 years.
Yeah, I think it's over the last year and a half, as we've been really doubling down and making changes and adjustments, it's been exciting. And I think anything worth building is worth taking some time and doing it right. So some of the criticism that we've gotten is we haven't gotten things out as fast as people would want. But for me, I really want to build this powerful, strong foundation that everything kind of comes from. So we have some really exciting projects that we're working on that I think are going to bring even more value to not only licensees, but their instructors and the students at the school. I think the Krav Maga Worldwide evolution is going to be for everyone, which I think is awesome. Yeah,
I totally agree. And what I think is very important, and I'm glad Mark did the organization of the seminar. Over the past, well, at least I would say since COVID, it has been so hard getting a lot of people together because in a way people have changed. And it was good to see people showing up from, practically all over the world to a place again and feeling okay with it, having fun, training together. And I like it this way.
That's cool. Yeah, I heard he did such a great job. Just he's really professional with organizing it. There was t-shirts and afterwards you guys had champagne and it was just like a really exciting thing. I think that's so cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he did a great job.
I haven't been to Luxembourg yet. Is it similar to Netherlands or is it way different?
Nope. Completely different. There are hills over there, so you have to go up and down. They speak a completely different language, of course.
Yep.
Well, actually, most of the time, they speak 3 different languages. So it's going to be Luxembourgish, it's going to be German, and it's going to be French.
Is Luxembourgish a blend of all those languages, or is it's totally its own thing?
No, it's a blend. It is, if I'm correct, but don't pin me on this one, because I think it has to do with, way in the past, with a part of occupation, where it's going to be either it was German or it was French, and they were supposed to be speaking, I think at first it was French, then it was supposed to be speaking German, and the people, they just didn't like it, so they made a mixture of everything, and so Luxembourgish.
That's cool.
It just happened.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to get over there, and I'm excited that we're able to bring enough people together that I think it'll make sense for us to come back. I mean, at least once a year and have these big exciting events where we all come together. And it's also neat that that you and other, I think Mark's even coming back to the States later this year. It's neat that we're able to travel back and forth and learn together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, I'm going to be in the US next month. So great. I'm so looking forward to it and getting more training in, getting more insights, and then hopefully bringing it back to Europe and, well, sharing it with the people here.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that
Yep.
you're like the tip of the spear, like getting the information, bringing it back, spreading it. You do a great job. And from everybody that I talk to in Europe, they just speak so highly of you and like how compassionate you are and how willing you are to support them and help them out. So thank you for all that you're doing, Gerwin.
Oh, no problem.
I know
To be honest, that's why we do it.
Yeah, right. I know there's a couple other really cool things that you're working on. Like in the background there, I see your logos. Do you want to talk about safety training gear a little bit?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, actually, the brand itself, it just happened during COVID. I'm also a high school teacher, and during COVID time, well, everything shut down. The gym shut down, so I was like, okay, I have nothing to do. And then I was like, well, you know what? What if I try to design my own stuff, get my own training gear? So it's going to be the training equipment, but also the apparel. And well, I just started drawing stuff and then approaching factories, figuring out like, okay, can you make this? And then testing it. When we opened again, I was like, okay, what did I do? Because now I have to split my time and energy to two different things. But oh well, that just happens. But then we started testing all this stuff in our own gym, and several European licensees are currently using a lot of our products.
That's great.
So I'm very proud of it.
Yeah,
the logo itself, I mean, it's also on my shirt. It is similar, a little bit similar to the Krav Maga Worldwide logo, which I would say the triangle is like a shield formed shape, and our logo is the same. It's also, in a way, it's a shield, but it also has like a lion shape in it.
Yeah,
which I think it's a combination of everything.
Yeah, it looks cool. I really like it, and like I was able to. You gave me some stuff while I was over there, and the apparel is really comfortable. I loved my hat. I don't like. I'm terrible. I lose stuff. I think I lost it. I lose a water bottle like once a month. It's but I still have the clothes, and they're super comfortable. And the pads that we use while we were training, because I came over for a black belt course, like they were solid. They were really well made.
Oh, well, thank you. Now I'll make sure you'll get a new hat. Don't worry.
Good. So you were a certified coach before you did Courage Coaching, and
Yes.
you also have, that's another component of how you serve people, right? Is you have a coaching practice?
Yes, that's correct. And that's actually one of the things that kind of happened during having the gym. What happened was we had several members just sticking around after classes and then sharing their problems. Like, okay, I'm encountering this or I'm encountering whatever. And then we just started talking about it. And together with Holger, one of my instructors, and also my best friend, we spent a lot of time talking to people. And then we were like, okay, can we in any way start monetizing this? And then we're like, okay, well, we have to become certified instructors, certified coaches. And so we started doing a coaching course. So when I finished that one, then Courage showed up and I was like, well, I think that's going to be the perfect combination. And to bring it back to the Courage coaching program, what I like about Courage program is that I think it's way more holistic. It is bringing everything together, which is way more helpful for people.
Yeah.
If I talk about my coaching, I love combining it with Krav, or putting people in the gym themselves and confronting them on a physical level, and then start talking. And I think the majority of the people that we're coaching, if you put them into the room and you put them to work and you take their breath away, you make it hard on them, they start talking real fast because they just want to rest. They just want you to
that's because they want to rest, right? Yeah. I get people trying to do that to be in class all the time. Now I know what they're doing.
Exactly. But then it is the perfect entrance for the conversation because they have their rest. And if they're, in a way, if people just start talking and there comes like a silence where people are just processing whatever they have been talking about, you can just pick up training again.
Yeah.
And that will just take the pressure off. And then they will start working again. And once they're working again, they get tired again, so they start talking again. But then there has been a little moment of processing. So I think it worked perfectly.
I think that's genius, Gerwin. I mean, there was one time I was on a call with a coach of mine, and I was like, I was really stuck. Like I was stuck in my head and like my body. And he's like, "How many burpees can you do in 5 minutes?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, let's find out." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah. So right on the call, I did 5 minutes of burpees, and afterwards, I felt way better. So the idea of the body and the mind working together, I think that's so smart. And I think that people, when you're talking about confronting, it's like, hit a pad for 30 seconds and then they're gassed and they're out of breath. Like that's an opportunity then to be to ask them those deeper questions or to help aim them towards like what they want to get. Cause that's the best part about coaching is it's like, it's for them. It's like, well, what do you want in your life? Right.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I'm also doing is, for instance, if you have people that are experiencing burnout, I would say burnout stuff. They're not already in a burnout, but they're getting there. So they're just feeling pushed around or whatever. I put them in a room and I am pushing them around. I'm doing exactly what they are experiencing, and they get frustrated. And the moment they get frustrated, I just stop them and it's like, okay, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're putting me in the corner. Yes. Why do you let me? And I just keep asking them questions like, why? What were your options?
Yeah.
Was there an alternative? Could you have said, okay, stop? Could you move sideways? What are your options? And then I'm bringing it, okay, that's the physical part. And then it's going to be like, does this sound something that happens to you on your work life as well? Okay, what are your options? And then they are just like, oh man, I do exactly the same stuff. I let people just throw stuff at me and I end up in a corner where I'm just feeling bad. While I could have said like, okay, enough is enough, or I could make a different choice. And I love combining the physical stuff with all the mental stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, in that realm, I'm sure like mental resilience is a big part of what you're helping your clients develop, right?
Yep, absolutely.
How do you feel like, I mean, you described a little bit about it, but like, how do you feel like you help people build mental resilience?
I think it is essential in this society for people to do it. And whether it's going to be in the coaching program or it's going to be like in regular self-defense classes, I am doing it anyway. For the kids program, I just build it in like 5 minutes every class. There's going to be some stuff that's either going to be challenging or that's going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
And I just want you to deal with it. And in the beginning, I think the first few weeks when I said like, okay, it's going to be 5 minutes of burpees. And the kids, oh no, I don't want to do burpees. And with the adults, same thing. They were like, oh no, burpees. Hey, if you complain, it only becomes more.
Yeah.
And then they just are okay with it. Okay, we have to do it. And now if I forget it once, then it's gonna be like, hey, we didn't do. They're just ready for it. And I think it's so important for people to understand that in life, you will have to deal with setbacks. But the way how you deal with it, that determines how you will move on.
And it sounds like, doing those challenging things and, getting outside of our comfort zone, and taking on hard challenges, like, is a realm to do that. And like you said, that could either be in a self-defense program or in coaching, or you were a big runner for a long time too, right? Did you?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
That's an area that I'm playing in now, where it's like, it's just a place to practice dealing with challenges and dealing with adversity.
Yeah, well, and to be honest, I think it's now a few months, 2.5 months ago, we also did a mental toughness challenge.
Oh, great.
Where I had a group of people doing 6 hours of Bas Rutten combinations.
Amazing.
So 6 hours in a row, just doing, well, them. There's a lot of sprawls in them, and doing it for 6 hours is challenging.
Yes.
And then combining it with the coaching, with all the mental aspects to it, and then by the end, everyone just finishing it. it is amazing. And people, even after a few months, they are still talking about it. Like, oh man, I never thought I could do it, but I could. And now I feel so much better.
Yeah, the king of mental resilience might be David Goggins, and he calls those things like putting cookies in the cookie jar. And it's like, if you look back, and it's like, if I could do 6 hours of Boss Rutan combinations, it's like, what else in life is going to bother me? It's like I can handle any challenge that comes my way. And I mean, I know me personally, black belt tests or other things. Like I did the 4x4x48 once, which is like running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Like looking back and being like, oh, if I can do that, well, I can tackle this. And I also do think though that the challenge is like, it's like, what have we done lately? Because if we look back at these cookies that are like 5 or 10 years old, they start to get a little stale and they don't help us. So that's one thing I really admire as you, is you're like continuing to find ways to challenge yourself and do hard things and then pass it on to the people that you're serving and working with. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, actually, it's one of the things I talked about this morning with a few of my students, and they were talking like, one of them is an old Marine from the Marine Corps, and he had like a big convention of 500 years Dutch Marines. And there were a lot of the old folks that were 70, 80 years old. They're like, no, I don't need to do anything because, back in the days I could fight. Well,
I know those type of people. Yeah.
And the member of me, I think he is now, but N50 in age. And he's like, he was talking to him like, but you still have to train. I mean, if you don't train, nothing happens. You will lose it. Yeah. So I used an analogy like, okay, it's like the kettle you put on and get boiling water. If you stop heating it, it will cool down and it will just become normal water. If you want it to be boiling, you have to put energy into it.
Yeah.
And I think for myself, I would feel terrible if I would not put the energy in it and then start teaching my students like, okay, you have to put energy in it. No, you have to lead by example.
Yeah, that's huge. That's so important. You've been serving as the Krav Maga Worldwide's European licensing director for quite a while now. What do you see as like the biggest opportunity for growth for Europe, like the community?
I think the biggest opportunity is that we have to keep on working together and being one team. I think that's the most important part. And if I look for instance, for the seminar, Mark did a big portion of the organization. I did a lot of the promotion. Nadesh showed up from Belgium. I borrowed a lot of the training guns from class, who couldn't make it, but he was like, hey man, I have the material, take it from me so you can just do it. I think Laura, she showed up. We had Paul from Denmark showing up. Mihal from Ireland texting me like, okay, is there anything I can do? I can't make it, and I think the community by itself, it is a good community.
That's awesome.
And we have to just appreciate what we're doing, and we have to just keep on building on from that point on.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you think we keep the momentum going after like the event we just did in Luxembourg?
What I think is important, we have to make sure we get some instructor training that is on a steady list, and it's not just the face training or expert training, but I would almost say like the old Krav Maga to you, which actually I will be organizing something like that in September, where cool. I will just invite all the instructors, and it's going to be free training for instructors.
That's awesome.
They can just show up and just share experience on the mat and sweat drops.
Yes, that's so great. Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is what are the plans? And it sounds like you've already got something put together for September, and I'm sure you got a lot that you can give them even just from the Luxembourg event, but now coming back in a few weeks to work with CJ some more. I think there's going to be even more collaboration that we all bring together to to support anybody who's with Krav Maga Worldwide all around the world, not just in the States, not just in Europe, but anybody, earlier this year, we have a new friend. His name is Diego. He's in the coaching group right now, but he came out, he's from Uruguay. And so it's cool just to see, we even have some new friends in Brazil, who are flying the Krav Maga Worldwide banner. So it's cool to see the growth and all of us coming together from all across the globe.
Yeah. What I truly hope is, if I look back over the past 20 years, we had a lot of schools within KMW that, due to whatever reasons, they all went their own separate ways. But I hope they will find their way back to KMW, because right now everything is changing in a positive way. And I think we are improving, we are growing, and we are owning up to whatever mistakes have been made, but at the same time, we are learning, improving, and changing. And I hope people will see it, they will appreciate it, and they will finally find their way back. Yeah. Because I think the name by itself, Krav Maga Worldwide, that's exactly what it should be. It should be worldwide. And I think we are now on a path that I haven't seen before, not with any other organization. So I hope people will just check it out. And if they like it, they're welcome.
Oh, yeah. I echo that 100%. I agree. And I'm looking forward to meeting them and working with them and being able to support anybody who either has been in the past with Krav Maga Worldwide or who is thinking about it coming forward. It would be great to have them with us.
Yep.
I'm going to give you a couple quick fire questions to close out the podcast. You ready, Gerwin?
Go ahead.
All right. What's your favorite training moment in the last year?
Absolutely, seminar. Seminar in Luxembourg. Yes.
Yes? Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. What is the most challenging or hard thing that you've put yourself through recently? Physically.
That is my own personal training. I have set some goals that I want to do, like a 5-hour nonstop ground fighting challenge for myself.
Let me know what it is. I'm coming.
I know you want to join too. No, I think 5 hours of ground fight is like insane. It's going to be so challenging for your body, but I just want to do it.
Oh man, that's super exciting. I mean, as long as you don't bite me like Laura bit me, I will come and be part of it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. What's one book or quote that's changed how you lead?
If people show you who they are, believe them.
That's cool.
Well, actually, I have another one, and that's one. I want to get back on that one. I don't know. Not by heart. There's also one by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, but
cool.
Yeah. I think that's to sin by silence when we should protest makes cowards out of men. So don't be silent.
I love that. I love that. You embody that, Gerwin. You're always coming to me with ideas. I love it.
Yeah. I refuse to be silent.
All right, last one. What's one thing you want every KMW instructor to know right now?
Attend the programs that are being offered. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Growth is in discomfort. Just do it. That's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Gerwin. Thank you for your time. And I can't wait to be on the mat again with you soon.
Hey, likewise. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing.
Thanks, Gerwin.
Hey, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Krav Maga Worldwide Podcast. To access additional resources, read show transcripts, or to submit your questions and topic suggestions for future episodes, visit kravmaga.com/podcast.